Deep inside the Nevada desert, Dr. Alan Wright stared at his monitor. The readings made no sense. He checked them again, running his hand through his thinning hair. The energy signature from Earth's core showed patterns he'd never seen before. "Lisa, come look at this," he called to his assistant. Lisa Reynolds walked over, coffee mug in hand. She leaned over his shoulder, her brow furrowing as she studied the screen. "That can't be right," she said. "The core shouldn't be fluctuating like that. I've checked it 3 times. These readings are accurate." Dr. Wright pulled up historical data. The comparison made his stomach sink. Earth's core was becoming unstable. The rate of change suggested they had 5 years before the instability would start affecting the surface. Maybe 10 years total before Earth became uninhabitable. "We need to tell someone," Lisa said, her voice barely above a whisper. Within hours, General Chris Daniels arrived at the facility with a team of government scientists. They reviewed the data in silence, faces grim. "Are you absolutely certain?" General Daniels asked. Dr. Wright nodded. "The math doesn't lie. The core is destabilizing. We're seeing unusual magnetic field fluctuations, thermal irregularities, and seismic patterns that match the early stages of catastrophic planetary failure." "How long do we have?" 5 years before major surface effects, increased earthquakes, volcanic activity, magnetic pole shifts. After that, maybe another 5 years before Earth becomes unable to support life as we know it. The meeting room fell silent. A woman in a dark suit spoke up. "We need to consider whether to make this public." "People have a right to know," Lisa said, "and cause worldwide panic." The woman countered. "We need time to develop options." General Daniels stood up. "As of this moment, everything discussed here is classified. Dr. Wright, assemble your best people. We're forming a special task force, Project Horizon, to analyze our options." Over the next week, scientists and military personnel arrived at the facility. They worked around the clock, reviewing data and developing scenarios. The news was never good. Earth's population of 8 billion people could not be evacuated with current technology. Even the most optimistic projections suggested they might save a few million at most. Dr. Wright hardly slept. The weight of knowing humanity's time was limited wore on him. One night, he found Lisa still at her desk at 3 a.m., eyes red from staring at screens. "You should get some rest," he told her. "How can I?" she asked. "Knowing what we know." "We'll find a solution," he said, not believing his own words. Lisa looked at him. "My family, my friends, everyone I know. They're all going about their lives with no idea what's coming." The next day, Lisa didn't show up for work. Dr. Wright called her apartment, but got no answer. When she appeared the following morning, something was different about her. She avoided eye contact and seemed distracted. 3 days later, General Daniels burst into the lab. "We have a problem. Information about Project Horizon is circulating online." Dr. Wright felt his blood run cold. "How much got out?" "Enough. Someone leaked partial files showing the core destabilization data." All eyes turned to Lisa, who stared at her shoes. "I had to," she said quietly. "People deserve time to prepare, to be with family." Security personnel escorted Lisa from the building as she called back, "I only shared the truth." That evening, social media exploded with theories. News channels ran special reports questioning the validity of the leaked scientific data. Government officials issued denials and calming statements. But in space, something was happening. An object, previously hidden behind Saturn, changed course. It moved toward Earth, its speed unlike anything human satellites had ever recorded. No one at Project Horizon knew yet, but Earth's problems were about to become much more complicated. 3 months after the leak, Dr. Wright sat in the observation room watching satellite feeds. The massive object had entered Earth's orbit yesterday, sending military forces worldwide into high alert. It was clearly artificial. A sleek vessel nearly a mile long with strange markings along its hull. "It's slowing down," Dr. Wright noted, as numerous government officials and military personnel crowded around him. General Daniels spoke into his phone. All defense systems remain on standby. Do not engage unless fired upon. The room fell silent when the vessel positioned itself above the Pacific Ocean. For hours, it simply hovered there, making no attempt at communication. Captain Olivia Martinez entered the room. As the head of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Contact Division, she had been preparing for this possibility, though none had expected it so soon. "Any transmissions?" she asked. "Nothing we can detect," responded a technician. Suddenly, all screens flickered. A face appeared. At least, they assumed it was a face. It had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and silvery skin that seemed to shimmer. "People of Earth," it spoke in perfect English. "We are representatives of the Galactic Concord. We have detected unusual energy patterns from your planet's core." Captain Martinez moved forward. "This is Captain Olivia Martinez representing Earth. How are you translating our language?" "We have been observing your broadcasts for decades," the alien responded. "We know of your impending crisis. The destabilization of your planet's core concerns us greatly." Dr. Wright stepped forward. "You know about our core problems. Can you help us?" The alien's eyes blinked in sequence. "We can offer limited assistance with evacuation efforts, but we cannot save everyone. Your planet's situation is more significant than you realize." Over the next week, a delegation including Captain Martinez, Dr. Wright, and several world leaders met with the aliens aboard their ship. They learned Earth existed within a vast community of over 300 intelligent species spread across thousands of star systems. "Why haven't you contacted us before?" asked the Secretary General of the United Nations. The alien representative, who called himself Navigator Kelm, hesitated before answering. "Your civilization was deemed too young. Contact typically occurs after a species develops sufficient interstellar travel. However, your situation is unique." "Because our planet is dying?" Dr. Wright asked. "Not just that," Navigator Kelm replied. "Earth serves as what we call a gravitational node. Your solar system sits at an intersection of cosmic currents that stabilize this sector of the galaxy. The destabilization of your planet will cause ripple effects affecting dozens of star systems." Captain Martinez studied the alien carefully. "So you're here because our problem threatens you?" "Yes and no," Kelm admitted. "We wish to help humanity, but we must also protect the greater stellar community. The destruction of Earth, if uncontrolled, could trigger gravitational anomalies affecting travel and communications across 47 inhabited systems." The human delegation exchanged worried glances. "How much time do we really have?" Dr. Wright asked. "Less than your scientists believe. Perhaps 3 years before irreversible damage begins." That evening, Earth's leaders debated their options in private. The aliens had offered transport vessels that could evacuate perhaps 10 million humans to habitable worlds within the Concord's territory. 10 million out of 8 billion, Captain Martinez said bitterly. "How do we choose who lives?" "We need more help," the Secretary General decided. "The Concorde may not be our only option." The next morning, they requested permission to broadcast a distress signal using Concorde technology, one that would reach farther than anything humans could produce. Navigator Kelm seemed reluctant but agreed. "Be careful what you wish for. Not all who hear your call will come with good intentions." As Earth prepared its message to the stars, no one noticed the small probe that detached from the Concorde ship and descended toward the Antarctic ice sheet. The United Nations building buzzed with activity as world leaders gathered to approve Earth's distress signal. After hours of debate, the Secretary General stood before the assembly, his face grave. "We stand at humanity's most critical moment," he said. "Today, we speak not just as nations, but as a planet." Captain Martinez and Dr. Wright waited nearby with the Concorde's communication device. It resembled a small silver pyramid that glowed with soft blue light. Navigator Kelm had explained it could transmit across vast distances using quantum channels humans barely understood. "Are we sure about this?" Dr. Wright whispered. "We don't know who might answer." Captain Martinez nodded firmly. "We need options. The Concorde's evacuation plan saves only a fraction of our people." When the vote passed, they activated the device. The Secretary General spoke clearly into it, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. "This is Earth, third planet of the Sol system. Our world faces catastrophic core destabilization within 3 years. We request humanitarian assistance for evacuation and possible planetary stabilization. We are a peaceful civilization, seeking aid for our 8 billion inhabitants." The message, translated by Concorde technology into standardized galactic communication formats, shot outward at speeds impossible under human physics. It reached hundreds of star systems within hours. What humans didn't understand was how their message would be received. Earth wasn't just another planet. It was a cosmic keystone, part of a natural system that maintained gravitational stability across a vast region of space. On the Concorde vessel, Navigator Kelm received reports of the first responses. He turned to his second-in-command with concern in his 4 eyes. "It's happening faster than predicted. 47 systems are already reporting disturbances in their travel corridors. Should we tell the humans the full truth?" his assistant asked. Kelm's skin rippled with color. "Not yet. They wouldn't understand their true importance." Across the galaxy, the reaction to Earth's message was immediate and chaotic. On Terralus Prime, a world of towering crystal cities, citizens flooded emergency shelters. Their scientists had already detected minor fluctuations in their planet's orbit, the first signs of what the destabilization of Earth would bring. The Novan Republic, spanning 12 planets in a nearby sector, declared a state of emergency and began moving populations from worlds closest to the affected gravitational corridors. Their historical records spoke of a similar event 20,000 years ago that had destroyed 3 of their colonies. On distant worlds unknown to humans, ancient guardian orders activated defense systems dormant for millennia. Prophecies and scientific predictions alike had warned of this moment. Back on Earth, Captain Martinez was summoned to an emergency meeting. A second alien ship had arrived in orbit, smaller than the Concorde vessel but more angular, with pulsing red markings. "They're requesting permission to land," General Daniels explained. "They claimed to represent something called the Vanguard Coalition." Before they could decide, Navigator Kelm burst into the room. "Do not allow them access," he warned. "The Vanguard seeks to accelerate Earth's destruction on their terms. They believe a controlled demolition of your planet will minimize damage to the galactic structure." "Demolition," Dr. Wright exclaimed. "They want to destroy Earth deliberately. To save countless other worlds." "Yes," Kelm admitted. "Their calculations suggest a precisely managed collapse of Earth's core would spare most other systems from disruption." Captain Martinez's face hardened. "And what does the Concorde want?" Kelm hesitated just long enough for her to notice. "We seek balance. Controlled evacuation while attempting to minimize damage." As they argued, the new ship sent a message directly to Earth's major broadcast networks, bypassing government controls. Across the planet, screens displayed a 6-eyed being with crimson scales. "People of Earth," it announced, "we are the Vanguard. Your leaders hide the truth. Your planet cannot be saved, but its death can be managed. We offer a painless end and salvation for those worthy of continuing. The Concorde will sacrifice you slowly. We offer mercy." Panic spread across Earth like wildfire. The message had been broadcast in all languages simultaneously. Riots erupted in major cities. Religious groups proclaimed the end times. Military forces worldwide mobilized without clear orders. And deep below Antarctica, the Concorde probe continued its silent work, unnoticed by human eyes. Within days of the Vanguard's broadcast, humanity fractured. People gathered under different banners, each believing their path was the only way forward. General Frank Miller stood before a crowd of supporters in Washington, D.C. His military uniform gleamed in the sunlight as he raised his fist. "Earth is our home. We will not abandon it to alien vultures," he shouted. His group, calling themselves the Preservationists, believed humanity should reject all alien help and find their own solution. "Our scientists, our military, our people can save this planet." The crowd cheered, waving flags and homemade signs. Many had painted their faces blue and green, representing Earth's oceans and land. Across the country in San Francisco, Dr. Samantha Garcia addressed a very different gathering. As the lead scientist of NASA's Exoplanet Division, she had quickly become the face of the Exodus movement. "We must accept reality," she said calmly into a forest of microphones. "Earth's core destabilization may be unstoppable. Our priority must be saving as many people as possible through evacuation." Her followers nodded solemnly. They wore practical clothing and carried digital tablets filled with technical plans for space arcs and colony ships. Meanwhile, in New York, businessman Peter Douglas stood on the steps of his corporate tower. His expensive suit contrasted with the red armbands worn by his followers. "The Vanguard offers us the most logical choice," he proclaimed. "A controlled end to our world saves the galaxy and guarantees survival for millions. Why suffer for years when we can manage our fate with dignity?" His accelerationists, as they called themselves, had already begun negotiations with the Vanguard representatives. In homes around the world, families argued bitterly. Communities split apart. Neighbors who had lived side by side for decades now viewed each other with suspicion. Captain Martinez watched it all from the command center, her heart heavy. On one screen, riots tore through London. On another, people looted stores in Rio de Janeiro. A third showed armed militias forming in rural areas. "This is exactly what the aliens wanted," she said to Dr. Wright, who worked beside her. "Division makes us weak." "I'm not sure they planned this," Dr. Wright replied, "but they're certainly not stopping it." General Daniels entered the room, his face grim. "The president wants to declare martial law. The Chinese and Russians are already deploying troops to secure their borders." "And the aliens?" Martins asked. "Still in orbit, both ships, watching us tear ourselves apart." That evening, Dr. Wright reviewed data from monitoring stations worldwide. Something caught his eye. Unusual energy readings from Antarctica. He cross-referenced with satellite images, but found nothing unusual on the surface. His phone rang. It was Lisa Reynolds. "I shouldn't be calling you," she said, her voice hushed. "But I've been working with an independent research group. We found something strange in the alien story." "What do you mean?" "Their timelines don't match. The Concorde claims they detected our core problems months ago, but our data shows the acceleration only began after their ship entered our solar system." Dr. Wright felt a chill. "You think they caused it?" "I don't know. But Kevin, he's a geologist in our group, says the pattern of destabilization isn't natural. It's too precise, too targeted." Before Dr. Wright could respond, alarms blared through the command center. General Daniels shouted orders as screens showed a third alien vessel entering orbit. "Get Captain Martinez," Dr. Wright called out. "We have another visitor." As chaos erupted around him, Dr. Wright stared at the Antarctic readings again. Whatever was happening there might be the key to everything. Outside the window, he could see fires burning in the distance as preservationist and accelerationist groups clashed in the streets. Humanity was coming apart at the seams. And time was running out. Dr. Wright and Lisa Reynolds stood at the edge of the Antarctic Research Station. The bitter wind cut through their thermal gear as they watched the specialized drilling equipment descend into the ice sheet. "Are you sure about these coordinates?" Lisa asked, her breath forming clouds in the freezing air. Dr. Wright nodded. "The energy signature is strongest here, whatever the Concorde probe placed under the ice. This is where we'll find it." They had assembled a small team of trusted scientists, people from different factions who were willing to set aside their differences to discover the truth. The expedition had been kept secret from both alien groups orbiting Earth. "Drill team reporting," came a voice through their headsets. "We've hit something solid at 200 meters. It's not ice or rock." Hours later, they stood in a hastily constructed underground lab, staring at their discovery. A metallic sphere about 3 meters across sat on the examination table. Its surface was covered with intricate patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. "It's ancient," said Dr. Patel, their archaeologist. "These markings match nothing in human history, but the metal shows signs of being here for at least 12,000 years. A monitoring device," Lisa suggested. Dr. Wright ran a scanner over the object. "It's still active. And there's more. According to the deep ground scans, there are hundreds of these spread throughout the Antarctic crust, forming a network." Back at the command center, Captain Martinez was making discoveries of her own. During diplomatic talks with the Concorde, she had noticed contradictions in their explanations. "Navigator Kelm," she said during their latest meeting, "you mentioned that Earth's core destabilization was detected 3 months ago, yet your historical records show you've been monitoring our system for centuries. Wouldn't you have detected the early signs years ago?" Kelm's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of discomfort they'd learned to recognize. The process accelerated unexpectedly. "And this vanguard coalition, you called them extremists, yet they seem to have detailed knowledge of Earth's situation that even we don't possess. The politics of our galaxy are complex," Kelm replied evasively. Martinez pressed further. "We've studied the gravitational science you provided. Earth's position doesn't fully explain the level of concern both your groups are showing. What aren't you telling us?" Before Kelm could answer, Martinez received an urgent message from Dr. Wright. The information made her eyes widen. That night, key leaders from the 3 human factions met in a secure bunker. Dr. Wright displayed images of the Antarctic artifact. "Earth isn't just dying," he explained. "It's been weaponized. These devices aren't monitors. They're activators. They've been dormant for millennia until recently." "Activated by what?" General Miller demanded. "By us initially," Lisa said. "Our deep mining operations in the Pacific triggered the first device, but the Concorde arrival accelerated the process." Dr. Garcia shook her head in disbelief. "You're saying Earth contains ancient technology that aliens want to control?" "Earth doesn't just sit at a gravitational crossroads," Dr. Wright explained. "It's a cosmic keystone built around technology from a civilization that predates all known galactic records. The destabilization isn't natural. It's the technology awakening." "But why would the aliens want to destroy such valuable technology?" Peter Douglas asked. Captain Martinez stepped forward. "They don't want to destroy it. They want to control the release of its energy. Earth isn't dying. It's transforming. And whoever controls that transformation gains power over this entire sector of space." General Miller slammed his fist on the table. "So we've been manipulated from the start. The question is," Lisa said quietly, "which alien faction planted these devices in the first place? And what happens when they fully activate?" As if in answer, the artifact they'd recovered began to glow with brilliant blue light. The patterns on its surface shifted faster, forming what looked like a countdown sequence. Dr. Wright checked his instruments and felt his blood run cold. "According to these readings, we don't have 3 years. We might not even have 3 weeks." Captain Martinez stood before the United Nations Security Council, her uniform crisp despite 3 days without proper sleep. Behind her, a holographic display showed images of the Antarctic artifact. "These devices are not natural," she explained. "They were placed here deliberately, thousands of years before human civilization emerged." The room erupted in questions. World leaders looked horrified as Dr. Wright stepped forward to continue. "We've translated portions of the coding within the artifacts," he said. "They appear to be components of a much larger system, one designed to harness and redirect massive amounts of energy." "By whom?" asked the British Prime Minister. Before Dr. Wright could answer, the doors burst open. Navigator Kelm entered, flanked by 2 other Concorde representatives. Their normally silver skin now pulsed with patterns of light. "We must speak," Kelm announced. "Time grows short." In the tense meeting that followed, the truth finally emerged. The Concord representatives were not diplomats or scientists as they had claimed. They were members of an ancient religious order known as the Seekers of the Great Reset. For countless millennia, our order has guided the cycle of cosmic renewal, Kelm explained, all pretense of diplomacy gone from his voice. Certain worlds, keystones like Earth, must periodically release their stored energies to maintain balance. You've been triggering planetary extinctions, Dr. Garcia asked in horror. We prefer to call it renewal, Kelm replied calmly. The technology within Earth's core was placed by the Forerunners, those who came before all known civilizations. It collects and stores energy from the cosmos. Every few thousand years, that energy must be released. General Miller stepped forward aggressively, and you decided Earth's time had come. The cycle cannot be denied, Kelm said. We merely guide it to minimize disruption to the galactic community. As they argued, alarms sounded throughout the building. The third alien ship that had arrived days earlier had launched smaller vessels toward Earth's surface. The Meridian Alliance, Kelm hissed. Our ancient enemies. They seek to disrupt the Great Reset. Within hours, representatives from this new faction had made contact. Unlike the humanoid Concord or the reptilian Vanguard, the Meridians resembled towering crystalline structures that glowed from within. We have monitored the deception being perpetrated on your species, their leader, who called herself Harmony, explained. The cult you know as the Concord has manipulated planetary extinctions for thousands of years, harvesting the energy for their own purposes. Lisa stepped forward. Is what they said about the technology true? About the need for periodic energy releases? Partially, Harmony replied. The Forerunner network does collect cosmic energy, but its purpose was preservation, not destruction. The Reset cult corrupted its function long ago. Dr. Wright displayed new data from the Antarctic network. The activation sequence is accelerating. According to our calculations, core destabilization will reach critical levels in approximately 17 days. The damage can be reversed, Harmony said. The original system was designed with safeguards, but we must act quickly before the cult's modifications trigger full collapse. Captain Martinez studied the crystalline being carefully. Why should we trust you over them? You shouldn't trust any of us completely, Harmony admitted. But we offer technology to verify our claims independently. Judge us by our actions, not our words. That evening, as scientists from all factions worked with Meridian experts, Captain Martinez received urgent news. The Vanguard ship had launched weapons toward the Concord vessel. It's beginning, Dr. Wright said grimly. The factions are fighting for control of Earth's energy release. Watching the battle unfold in orbit, Lisa made a stunning realization. The interference patterns from their weapons, they match the activation sequence in the artifacts. They're not just fighting each other. They're trying to trigger the system remotely. General Miller organized global defense forces, while Dr. Garcia coordinated with the Meridians. Peter Douglas, now understanding the true stakes, mobilized corporate resources to support their efforts. As dawn broke over a world teetering on the edge, humanity finally understood. Earth wasn't simply their home. It was a battleground in a war that had begun before humans had even evolved. A war they had only days to stop. The Antarctic base had transformed into humanity's last hope. Scientists from every faction worked alongside Meridian engineers, their breath-forming clouds in the frigid air, as they modified the ancient technology buried in the ice. The calibration is holding, Dr. Wright called out, his fingers flying over a hybrid console that merged human computers with crystalline Meridian technology. Power levels at 60% and rising. Lisa monitored the network of artifacts they had activated across the continent. The counter-frequency is spreading through the system. We're seeing decreased core activity in sectors 3 through 17. Above them, the sky flashed with distant lights, the battle between Concord and Vanguard forces continuing in orbit. Neither alien faction had yet realized that humans had found a third option. Captain Martinez wasn't in Antarctica. she had undertaken the most dangerous mission of all, leading a small team aboard a Meridian shuttle to the Concorde mothership. Their mission: diplomacy backed by deception. "Navigator Kilm," she said, standing before the four-eyed alien in his command chamber, "I bring terms from Earth's united government." Kilm's skin rippled with skepticism. "You have no leverage to negotiate." "Actually, we do." Martine smiled thinly. "While we've been talking, my colleagues have been busy." She activated a small projector showing the Antarctic operation. "We've accessed the Forerunner network. We now understand its true purpose." For the first time, she saw genuine alarm in the alien's four eyes. "Impossible," he whispered. "Humans lack the technology." "We had help," Martins admitted. "But more importantly, we found something your kind has overlooked for millennia." Back on Earth, Dr. Garcia supervised the final modifications to the central artifact. Unlike the other devices, this one had remained dormant until they activated it with codes provided by the Meridians. "It's a control node," she explained to General Miller, who watched with a mixture of awe and suspicion. "The Forerunners built in safeguards against exactly the kind of manipulation the Reset cult has been performing." "Why didn't the Meridians activate it themselves?" Miller asked. "Biological locks," Dr. Garcia explained. "The system requires genetic markers from the dominant species of the planet. It needs human DNA." Peter Douglas coordinated the global response teams. As the most skilled communicator among them, he had united the fractured human factions with a simple message: Earth belongs to all of us, not to ancient alien cults. In orbit, the Vanguard ships began to disengage, their sensors detecting the changes occurring on the planet below. Their leader sent a final transmission: "You understand nothing of the forces you manipulate. The cycle cannot be broken without consequences." Captain Martinez, hearing this aboard the Concorde vessel, looked directly at Navigator Kilm. "Perhaps it's time for a new cycle to begin." She activated her communication device and gave the signal they had been waiting for. Dr. Wright and Lisa simultaneously pressed their palms against the control node's surface. It scanned their DNA, glowed brilliant blue, and sent a pulse of energy through the entire network. A visible wave of blue light spread across Earth's surface, visible from space. The destabilization process didn't just stop, it reversed. The ancient technology, finally functioning as intended, began healing the planet's core. From her position aboard the alien ship, Martinez broadcast humanity's final warning to the galaxy, to all species of the galactic community. Earth is now under the protection of its rightful inhabitants. The Forerunner technology will no longer be manipulated by outside forces. Any hostile approach will trigger defensive measures affecting this entire sector. We offer friendship to those who come in peace, but we will defend what is ours. The Concorde vessels retreated first, followed by the Vanguard fleet. Only the Meridian ships remained, maintaining a respectful distance. 1 month later, the United Nations Stellar Council held its first meeting. Representatives from Earth's nations sat alongside delegates from the Meridian Alliance and several other species who had responded to their message with offers of peaceful contact. Dr. Wright watched from the gallery as Captain Martinez addressed the assembly. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity," she said. "We step into the galactic community not as victims or refugees, but as equals. Earth is not ending, it is awakening. And so are we." Lisa leaned toward Dr. Wright and whispered, "Do you think they'll come back?" He nodded slowly. "Someday. But next time, we'll be ready." Outside the council chambers, people went about their lives under skies now known to be filled with watching eyes. Earth had sent its warning, and the galaxy had listened.